Welcome back to the TV show spoiler review here at Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dinenberg. Today, I am breaking down the final two episodes of season one of the Disney Plus show Maul, Shadow Lord, episode 9 titled Strange Allies, and episode 10 titled The Dark Lord. Can't wait to talk all things spoilers with you in a matter of seconds. But welcome in, I'm Max Dinenberg from Max Talks Movies. Before we start, guys, please hit that thumbs up button. Take 2 seconds out of your day. Help support the channel and gets my video out to more people. So please hit that like button. Also, this is a full spoiler review. So if you've not seen these final two episodes, beware because spoilers are incoming. Go watch those two episodes. They cover around 15 minutes with credits, so it's probably around 45 minutes of actual watch time. Watch it, come back here. Let's talk spoilers of Maul Shadow Lord. Now, happy May the 4th to everyone. My plan was I was planning on maybe on Sunday night, which was going to be into Monday, watch the episode so I can get a video out for Star Wars Day for you guys. Because again, Star Wars is really everything to me. I really take the holiday probably more seriously than a lot of people. But it was like reported that some of the episodes were going to be out actual at midnight Eastern time. That wasn't the case. So I actually wanted to enjoy my day and my day watching Maul and give you a spoiler review. So that's also why I did my TikTok video for you guys here, my blind ranking of Star Wars characters. But I loved these two episodes here of Maul Shadow Lord. This is definitely going to be one of the best projects that Star Wars has done, I think, over the last decade, at least since Disney has taken over the Star Wars brand. And again, Star Wars animation has an extremely high bar. Honestly, I think this clears that Disney XD show a couple years ago. I forget the name of that show, but not a lot of people watched it. But it's obviously, I think it's better than Bad Batch. I do think it rivals Clone Wars and Rebels. Now, again, for someone like me who grew up with Clone Wars and Rebels basically being my entire Star Wars until I was 13 years old, I have different, emotional impact of those two shows. But I can totally see people this being their favorite animated Star Wars project or one of their favorite Star Wars projects ever because this really was an excellent series from start to finish, and these episodes absolutely delivered. So, Chapter 9, Strange Allies, kicks off with our promised Crimson Dawn meeting at the end of Chapter 8, where we get the meeting between Maul and Dryden Voss. Now, obviously, Paul Bettany did not voice Dryden Voss after playing him in Solo. I did not think the voice change took me out of the scene or anything like that. We get this confrontation between Maul and Voss, and they make a deal, which is Voss offers, I'll get you off-world, but in return, I want you to actually kill the person who's currently above me running Crimson Dawn so I can take over running the Syndicate. And Maul found that to be obviously a very intriguing thing. So this is obviously setting the table for what eventually happens in Solo, which we know Dryden Voss dies in that end of the fight scene in Solo: A Star Wars Story. And the movie ends with Kira, played by Emilia Clarke, with her ring calling on Maul. Now, I think the interesting thing is, will Maul technically be the leader of Crimson Dawn? Will he just take over the entire Shadow Collective again? And that is why Kira is calling him because again, basically in this combination or this deal, it doesn't make it clear that Maul is like the secret leader behind Crimson Dawn. So I think it'll be actually interesting if actually he's not the leader, but he's still running all the syndicates, so they go to him when things go wrong. I'm very fascinated with how many seasons this show might get. We know they're at least going to get another season here of Maul Shadow Lord if they poke their toes into what happens at the end of Solo. Would be very interesting. We get that deal, and now Maul teams up with our heroes at the beginning of this episode to get off the planet. Obviously, Diodaki's not that happy about this. But again, Maul now clearly has a connection with Devon because Diodaki said he didn't just can't just force that dream on your mind. There obviously has to be a connection there, and you can really tell Devon growing more favorably to Maul. She still loves her master, but definitely agrees a lot with Maul as well. I think she sees both sides to it and agrees with both her master and obviously Lord Maul here. So they're going through this plan. They have to go down this sewage hole to get to this particular location, and that's when the Inquisitors meet up with our Jedi and former Sith and Darth Maul. They have this whole action set piece where they're trying to cross over this toxic waste in order to move on to the next stage to get closer to the spot where Voss can pick them up. And the action scenes in these two episodes were just phenomenal. The lightsaber battles were fantastic. Seeing Maul work with Jedi, we saw that in bits and pieces in Rebels when he had to work with Ezra and Kanan. But seeing it here was really fantastic. Both of the Inquisitors, obviously Merrick and the 11th Brother, very fascinating characters that I think they did a really good job bringing back in important ways here. But I really have to get talking about what was the big end of this scene. So after Maul, Devin, and Diodaki fight off the Inquisitors, they escape. Merrick does say to 11th Brother, tell him that they are going straight to him. And the whole time, I was thinking this should be Darth Vader. I know a lot of people thought this would be the Grand Inquisitor, but Merrick did say Lord in a couple episodes ago, and he would not call the Grand Inquisitor Lord or anything. He would call Vader that. So we get this action scene where they're walking through this woody area, or the woods, I guess. Woody. I don't know what I'm talking about, but Rook goes to check it out. Obviously, in that fight and also prior, a lot of Maul's people died, including the other Zabarak. A couple of the Mandalorians are dead. So they're really down to a couple people at this point. And then Rook seemingly is force choked and killed, and we get the breath of Darth Vader. He shoots his lightsaber up, and it really felt like a scene right out of like Rogue One, where in that hallway sequence in Rogue One, where once his blade hit, that look was fantastic. Kevin Kiner and the Kiners, who did the scores here for these episodes, did such a phenomenal job adding their own music to Star Wars, but also incorporating a lot of John Williams themes throughout these two episodes. And again, that's what people should be doing when you're composing scores in Star Wars. Sorry, yes, do you need to create your own themes? Of course you do, but you also need to blend in a lot of the John Williams themes. And the Kiners, especially Kevin Kiner, who's been scoring Star Wars for over a decade now, has always nailed for 20 years now, actually, has nailed adding his own music, feeling like John Williams, but still feeling like his own music, but also adding in those John Williams sparks at the right moment. And he has done that in these two episodes as well. But we end on Vader. That's the cliffhanger for episode 9. Obviously, they released 2, so we get into episode 10, which is titled The Dark Lord, and we begin this action set piece between Maul, Devin, Diodaki, and Darth Vader. And Vader is toying with them one-handed. He really felt like a horror movie villain in these episodes, where he really felt like the Boogeyman or the Terminator. The way he wasn't he didn't say a single word in these episodes. He attacked with ferocity. He felt so much bigger than the three of them, like overbearing his aggressiveness, but he also felt like he wasn't even going at full strength as his one-handed. The force chokes, just amazing fight scene between Vader, the Jedi, and Maul. Just really good stuff. Obviously, our other heroes who are not force sensitive, they are on the run as well, trying to get their way to Voss's ship. Riley, Lawson, Two Boots, and Vario are on the run. At the same time, Maul, Devin, and Diodaki are fighting Vader. Obviously, they seem completely unmatched. And the whole point was we knew in Star Wars Rebels when Vader showed up at the same time Maul was around, Maul was terrified. And that's why a lot of us theorized that Vader would show up in the show, giving us a reason why Maul would be so terrified. And again, he's also terrified of his master, Darth Sidious, who he brings up throughout the entire show. But you can really see him putting the pieces together on who Vader is. You can see him in his mind going, what are you? Who are you? And then when they get a break from the fight with Vader, he's like, there's no way, this really can't be true. And you can tell, even though he doesn't outwardly say it, because what would telling Diodaki and Devin that he's Anakin Skywalker do? Nothing. But to himself, he realizes who this is and who he's working for and all of these things. And he brings up a really cool fact where, he's like, this guy, he knows how Jedi fight. He knows the exact way to beat a Jedi. And that's something that's never really brought up with Vader, because of course, Anakin Skywalker was a Jedi, and there are different ways to fight via Sith or Jedi. Obviously, Maul was never trained as a Jedi, and to him, that made Vader even scarier in this lightsaber battle because he knows how the Jedi work, what their tactics are, and it gives him a huge advantage. And it's something that's just never talked about with the lore of Darth Vader. Yes, he's this ultimate Sith who used to be a Jedi, but being a Jedi gave him a huge advantage becoming a Sith, fighting off all these Jedi post Revenge of the Sith. And I think that's an expertly done adding of lore that they did here in these episodes. Vader comes out of like the wall at one point. He really did feel like a horror movie villain coming through the wall. And this leads to the Inquisitors get back involved here in this episode. There's a cruiser overhead. Two Boots gets him down after a Vario distraction. Diodaki pushes Merrick off of the cliff. Obviously, we know he'll make it because he's in the Ahsoka series. But we knew the only characters that we don't see past the show are Diodaki and Devin. But it kind of felt like Diodaki was going to be the character that bit the dust in this episode. We got that towards the end here of episode 10. Again, Maul earlier in the episode did tell Devin, use your anger. He knows how the Jedi work. Got to use your anger. Obviously, Diodaki says patience. We don't need to use our anger, but you can tell Devin's kind of been listening to Maul here. We get Maul and Diodaki versus Vader towards the end of this fight because Devin's dealing with the Inquisitors. And Maul and him are doing okay. They force push Vader away, but then Maul gets clipped again in the leg by Vader and knows he really has no shot in this fight by himself, really. And someone who fights similarly than him. And then Maul moves back and he force pushes Diodaki into Vader and leaves him hanging high and dry. And Maul's doing this so Devin can see her master being killed and for that to bring out the true anger inside of her. And Maul watches as Devin reacts to Vader killing Diodaki. Really, I mean, again, they give Diodaki one kind of slice on Vader's arm, but that was about it. Vader dominates this fight, kills Diodaki, and then unleashes a yell and a scream from Devin. And Maul kind of likes that. She loses her blue lightsaber, and Maul gives her one of her two red lightsabers, and they are off to the races. She wards off the 11th brother, but Vader is there. Maul helps out. But then through the rubble, Maul tries to pull the rubble on Vader. Really cool shot where Vader's like force pushing rubble off of himself. Really, really cool animation throughout this episode. And this is some of the best lightsaber battles that we have gotten in all of Star Wars. And then, Devin says, we can't let him go. We need to kill him right now. And Maul says, you're not powerful enough. With my training, we will get our revenge. So Maul and Devin leave Vader. Vader watches as the Imperial March plays. Also, my favorite music cues in this episode is when Vader kills Diodaki. We get the Anakin Dark Deeds music from the Revenge of the Sith being played. Awesome. Really awesome music cue there. Honestly, one of my favorite music cues I've gotten in a Star Wars show in a very long time. But Maul talks with Dryden Voss once they're on the ship. Also, before this, seemingly Captain Lawson sacrifices himself so his son, Two Boots, and Vario can get on the ship. They don't physically show Lawson die. Because again, this is a show where they do show so many people being killed. They show Diodaki being sliced up. They show stormtroopers being shot in the head. They're not afraid to show dead bodies. So they didn't show Lawson die, and they didn't officially show Rook dying. So it will be interesting if those characters are dead or they can be brought back in season 2. But on the ship, we have Maul talking with Voss, and Dryden says, I held up my end of the bargain. And Maul says, I will also hold up my end of the bargain. And we end on Maul sitting with Devin, and Devin angrily grabbing that red lightsaber and saying, I am ready. And Maul smirks, staring at Devin. And that's where we end off season 1. Phenomenal stuff. Great action. Fantastic score. Amazing animation. Just jaw-dropping stuff. One of the best Star Wars shows of the last decade. Honestly, it's one of the best Star Wars projects since Disney has acquired the brand. Animation for Star Wars, a lot of people were nervous when Clone Wars and Rebels ended. Could Star Wars ever reach the heights of those two shows from an animation perspective? Bad Batch was a solid show. It just was never close to reaching those emotional highs that was in Clone Wars and Rebels. But I do think Darth Maul, Shadow Lord, really got there. The fact that they already got greenlit for season 2, Sam Witwer's already said we're not going to have to wait super long. So based on that, I would expect to get this show mid to late 2027. Really cool to get these final two episodes also on May the 4th. So a really good holiday to close out my holiday was watching these final two episodes. So what are your guys' thoughts on Maul, Shadow Lord? Does this rival some of the best Star Wars TV shows, live action and animated? Let me know down in the comments. Like this video. And if you like my video like this as well, please subscribe. We're almost under 50 subscribers away, guys, from 500, which is a pretty major milestone for my YouTube channel. So please subscribe, ring the bell if you are new. And I'll see you guys in another video very soon.